Welcome to Spurs Focus, your go-to spot for daily Tottenham news, transfers, and match updates. Don't forget to support the channel by hitting that subscribe button now. Let's dive into today's top story. Spurs under pressure. Xavi Simons blasted. Mason explains exit, and Oscar reveals why he snubbed Tottenham. Thomas Frank's Tottenham Hotspur will look to bounce back from some poor results when they face Leeds United in Saturday's early kickoff. New recruit Xavi Simons has been blasted for these recent performances. João Palhinha rescued a point for Spurs when they last were in Premier League action. His perfectly placed strike in added time against Wolves salvaged a 1-1 draw. Spoils were shared once again on Tuesday when Frank's side travelled to Norway in the Champions League. An inspired Bodo Glimt took a commanding 2-0 lead, but a finish from Mickey van der Ven and an own goal from the opposition's goalkeeper clawed back a point once more. Daniel Farke's Leeds are their next opponents. Mirror Football brings you all the latest news from the white half of North London, including new signing Simons coming under fire, an ex-Chelsea star's telling admission, and the reason behind Ryan Mason's Spurs exit. Brazilian star Oscar arrived in the Premier League 13 years ago when he signed for Chelsea in a £25 million deal from International. He made 200 appearances for the club under various managers, proving to be a valuable midfield asset while winning 2 league titles and the Europa League. The turned heads in 2016 when he accepted a move to the Chinese Super League. Oscar penned a lucrative 4-year deal with Shanghai Port after transferring for an estimated £60 million. Speaking to former teammate John Obi Mikel on his The Obi-Wan podcast, Oscar has now revealed that before he moved to West London, he was approached by Spurs. The 34-year-old, who still plays in Brazil for São Paulo, admits Chelsea were the better choice. "I had Tottenham as well, because Andre Villas-Boas was there," he said. "Villas-Boas was the first one to call me. I played under Villas-Boas in China, and he always said, 'I talked to you, why didn't you come?' But, Chelsea, I cannot compare. Chelsea is better, so I chose Chelsea. And it was the right choice." Dutch international Simons completed an opposite move to Oscar's this summer when he touched down in North London, despite being heavily linked with a switch to Stamford Bridge. Simons cost Spurs £51 million, and while he is still finding his feet in English football, some have been quick to jump the gun and doubt his abilities. Former Aston Villa striker Gabby Agbonlahor voiced his concerns on TalkSport after Tottenham's 2-2 draw against Bodo/Glimt. "Simons, I'm not sure about," Agbonlahor stated. "It's early on, we don't want to judge players after 5-6 games, but I'm really not sure about him." No, sometimes you see a player and you're like, "Oh, okay, I like him, yeah, I like what he's about." But I watch Simons and I'm like, "Oh, he's on the floor. He doesn't seem rapidly quick when I watch him as well." Boyhood Tottenham star Mason had been associated with the club from the age of 8 before he waved goodbye to become West Bromwich Albion manager this summer. He played for Spurs from 2008 to 2016 and served as interim head coach on 2 separate occasions while acting as an assistant under multiple managers. The 34-year-old, who was forced to retire in 2018 after suffering a severe head injury, has now spoken out about leaving the club after their Europa League success in Bilbao. "In the last 12 months, I had the desire to go out on my own, and it felt like the time was right," Mason told Sky Sports. "I spoke to Ange Postecoglou, and he advised me it needs to feel right, and when it does, go for it. I spoke to some clubs in the last 12 months, but nothing felt right. The way the season ended in Bilbao with Spurs was amazing. When I understood West Brom Albion were interested, it felt right. It's a massive club with great history and impressive people. I felt a real alignment and connection straight away." Ryan Mason has finally opened up on his exit from Tottenham and his new journey at West Brom. After helping Ange Postecoglou make history in Europe, the 44-year-old felt it was time to go out on his own. Speaking to Sky Sports, Mason revealed the advice he got from Ange, his connection with Spurs' European win, and why Antonio Conte's obsession with winning left a lasting impact on him. Was this the right time for Mason to leave his beloved club? Ryan Mason has revealed what it was like to work under Antonio Conte and explained why he decided to leave Tottenham after the Europa League success under Ange Postecoglou. The 34-year-old left Spurs to become head coach of West Brom in the summer, bringing an end to his long association with the Lilywhites. After spending 8 years at the club as a player, Mason returned to Tottenham in a coaching capacity in 2018 and worked under Jose Mourinho, Conte and Postecoglou. The former midfielder was even appointed interim head coach in 2021 and 2023, before becoming one of Postecoglou's assistants ahead of the 2023/24 season. Mason was well liked among the playing squad and enjoyed the 1-0 win over Manchester United in Bilbao as much as anyone. Mason always had ambitions to become a manager though, and even spoke to Postecoglou about the matter only a matter of months ago. In an interview with Sky Sports, Mason said, "We created history together and will be bonded forever because when you win with someone, that connection is never broken. In the last 12 months, I had the desire to go out on my own, and it felt like the time was right. I spoke to Ange and he advised me it needs to feel right, and when it does, go for it. I spoke to some clubs in the last 12 months, but nothing felt right. The way the season ended in Bilbao with Spurs was amazing. When I understood West Brom Albion were interested, it felt right. It's a massive club with great history and impressive people. I felt a real alignment and connection straight away. West Brom have started the new season in decent form under Mason, winning 4 and drawing 2 of their 8 championship games. It means the Baggies are 4th in the table and 4 points off leaders Middlesbrough. Mason was also asked to reflect on his time under Conte and what he learned from the Italian. Conte was appointed in November 2021 following the sacking of Nuno Espirito Santo and helped Spurs qualify for the Champions League. Tottenham struggled for form the following campaign though, and after a number of public outbursts, Conte left the club by mutual consent in March 2023. It was just everything with him, Mason said when asked about Conte. Preparation. Detail the way he lives his life. It's engrossed in winning and can become contagious. He was amazing. Kevin Danso didn't hold back after Tottenham's chaotic night in Norway. Spurs fell 2 goals behind to a Jens Petter Haug. Masterclass before a late own goal saved their Champions League campaign. Danso called the goals very annoying and admitted his defensive game must be stronger. But he also praised Spurs' never-say-die mentality that has now produced 2 straight last-minute comebacks. Is this resilience a sign of Frank's new era, or just papering over cracks? Kevin Danso admits that it was very annoying for Tottenham to concede twice in the way they did against Bodo/Glimt in the Champions League. The Norwegian side swept into a deserved 2-0 lead thanks to a Jens Petter Hauge, double only for Spurs captain for the day, Mickey van de Ven, to head a goal back. Then in the 89th minute, an Archie Gray shot was pushed out by the Bodo goalkeeper, and against his own defender, Jostein Gundersen, to bounce into the net and to spare Tottenham's blushes. Danso came into the defence for injured captain Christian Romero and admitted that Hauge's finishes were excellent, but frustrating. They were very good. I mean, we knew before he was a very good player, and he showed quality with the 2 goals he scored. But from a defensive standpoint, obviously very annoying because you want to keep the clean sheet. But they were 2 good goals, and we had a tough time, said the Austria international. The centre-back added, "We know from last season they're a very good side. Very, very good football. Especially in the first half, it took us a while to figure out. We went down and I think we just showed our mentality that we're difficult to beat. We came back and we're happy to take a point away from home." The late own goal meant it has been back-to-back games in which Spurs have hit a late leveller to rescue a point after grabbing a 1-1 draw at home with Wolves in the Premier League on Saturday night. Danso explained why that comeback ability is in Thomas Frank's team. Just hard work, staying in the game no matter what situation, no matter what the state of the game is, said the defender. 1-0 up, 2-0 up, 3-0 up, 1-0 down, 2-0 down. Just hard work and always wanting to score, always wanting more, and defending at the same intensity no matter what the state of the game is. With the partnership of Romero and Van de Ven, the main one at Spurs, Danso has had to take what he can get in game time, which meant stepping into the breach in the Champions League suddenly after Romero's contact injury against Wolves. Of course, when you don't play as much, it's always a bit difficult, but I feel like I've got enough experience now. I know what it takes, and I just know defensively, I need to be stronger, a bit stronger than today, he said. But I feel like with the experience, 9 years professional now, it's just part and parcel of football. You've got to be ready for the opportunity when it comes. Tottenham survived a nightmare in Norway. Bodo/Glimt ran Spurs ragged and left Thomas Frank's men shell-shocked in a performance far from their dominant win back in May. With Richarlison struggling, Dominic Solanke injured, and the hosts missing big chances, Spurs were lucky to escape with a draw. Is this a warning sign for Frank's new era? There are two ways of looking at Tottenham's shell-shocked performance beside the Norwegian Sea on Tuesday night back in the small town of Bodo. Firstly, it was nowhere near the professional physical display Spurs put in at the Aspmyra Stadion in May. On Monday night at his press conference, Thomas Frank had done everything to distance himself from that 2-0 win 4 months ago, while stating that no parallels could be drawn. However, in the same room the next night, after the game, the Tottenham head coach referred back to that previous victory 3 times. On one of those occasions, he said, "I think it's also fair to say that we didn't touch the ball in the first half last season either, and it was still 0-0 at that half. I think they were slightly better today in the first half, Bodo, so I think that's more respect to them." Slightly in this instance would be like saying it had been a slightly long wait for Tottenham to win a European trophy, the night before they lifted that one in Bilbao. For Bodo was so much better than Spurs that one of the greatest mysteries of this season might just be how the scoreline was indeed 0-0. At half-time as a penalty was missed. Another unmarked effort from 8 yards was sent over the bar, and Tottenham spent much of their time run ragged by the hosts' attacks. In contrast, Bodo barely threatened Tottenham's goal in either half back in May against a visiting side that bullied them throughout with their physical play. The second way to look at it, though, is that this Bodo/Glimt side are far better than they are given credit for, and their home record in Europe is dominant. Spurs' win in May was an outlier at a stadium where many have come and failed. So regardless of how fortunate Spurs were to escape with a draw, they still managed to come away with something few have managed, and that's a promising sign, regardless of how it came. Under Ange Postecoglou, when Tottenham stank, so did the result. Under Frank so far, when the performances haven't clicked, and it's still very early days in him imprinting his ideas on the squad, they have at least grabbed a point or 3, the Bournemouth game aside. Football. London asked Frank if with so many games and some key injuries in attack, he was having to throw together starting lineups and might not yet have worked out the right blend, balance and formula. The Dane thought for a moment before saying, "I think that's too early to judge in my opinion. You can say we didn't play our best first half today, but I made it very clear from the beginning, I have a big respect for Bodo, and everyone should have for what they do and what Kjetil Knutsen is doing. I think it's also fair to say that it went quite well against Wolves in the first half, so I know that's a bigger perspective. I think it's overall, you can say with a lot of games, that go-to starting 11 you like to find at a certain stage, that's something I'm looking into. Which is normal. New coach, new players. And we still need to do a little bit of rotation. So in essence, Frank didn't agree, but kind of did. A key miss for him has been the unavailability of Dominic Solanke. The striker and the club have finally had to give in to undergo a minor procedure that is expected to fix his ankle problem and keep him out only for a few more weeks, with the international break eating up the bulk of it. If you're looking for differences to May, Solanke was one. Not only did the England international score, but he provided an outlet for Tottenham to get up the pitch, either through his hold-up play or his dribbling. That day Richarlison played on the left of the attack, meaning the Premier League side had 2 physical threats up top. This time the Brazilian played up on his own through the middle and looked like a man who has been playing far more football than his body has been used to over recent years. His work rate has dipped accordingly, and so has his hold-up play. It was like kicking a ball against a wall at times for his teammate, only it would bounce to Bodo players. Richarlison was not alone in being far less impactful than in May. Brennan Johnson offered nothing other than the second half shot that Rodrigo Bentancur turned into the net, only for a Mickey van de Ven shirt pull to result in it being ruled out